Holy guacamole, folks. Hang on to your tacos. You're getting ready for a fresh, brand new Peter G. Show.
Peter G. Show. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Jim and Peter Show.
Well, thank you.
Welcome,
How are you, Pete?
Welcome, Jimmy.
Yes. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Better.
Good.
Yes.
What, did you have the flu?
No. But having a really good time with Jake in particular. And, time goes by so fast.
I just bought my daughter a pair of sneakers in May, and it pisses me off because she's not fitting
Well,
in
you
them.
stole his sneakers.
Well, they're Converse. You know how expensive stupid Converse are?
Yeah.
And she's growing like a weed. So, yeah, I get it. And she's warm.
I always got upset when we had the baby shoes from Nike, and they're $48.
Yeah, well, those were dumb. That's like,
Yeah,
we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Well,
Now I'm going into adult
well,
size.
actually, you're wrong because
Really? You got another baby?
I'm having another baby.
I can tell. How many months are you?
Well, I don't know. It's hard.
Oh,
to
speaking
tell.
of which, you notice anything special?
No.
You
What's
sure?
Special. Oh, the shirt.
Remember I bought this shirt for you a few months ago?
Oh yeah.
The one that you threw
One
back
with
at
the
my
two
face?
with the two penises.
No, it's not. I bought this shirt for Jim, and Jim didn't like it.
He's angry.
So, yeah, I'm a little
You can remember that?
Yeah,
Really?
I not only did I remember it, I brought it with. I've been carrying it with me for just such an occasion because I thought I was doing a good thing, and Jim just basically F you.
Well, it's just kind of the way you wear shirts. It's just But I appreciate
listen. This guy needs a beer.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I think all of us do. Ty.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
Ty's in there.
beer
We're on
30.
there.
We're okay. So anyway, things are okay. We're living another beautiful week. I got a great surprise for you today.
Of course you do.
I do.
I can't wait.
The beauty of the show lately is we get guests. We get people that are sitting in front of us, and today we got somebody sitting in front of us that is awesome.
Okay. All right.
All right. Not only is she intelligent, she's beautiful. She can turn a wrench from.
Yeah, we can't do any of those things.
It's
None
a
at all.
man's dream. It's
Yeah.
And we have her here, and she's full of knowledge, and she's sensible, and she's an inspiration. At least she was to me, because when you hear her story, you're going to say, "Wow, super girl."
I think we'll be kicked out of the show after that.
Why?
Because we're not nearly that good.
That is true, but that's why we bring in. You know what? It's like you surround yourself by better, people that are strong around. That way you can, and we are definitely doing that today.
I'm going to be crying driving home. I'll tell you that.
I want to say hello.
I need this job.
I know. But yeah, it's like, please, sir. It's like, hey, you can be the car parker.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'll take it, please.
Well, how much they paying? Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to my friend and now friend of the show, Miss Taja Martin.
Hello.
Should we clap?
See?
We should clap.
Yes.
Yeah, we should clap.
I'll take that applause. I love that
I
introduction.
didn't clap for you.
And it's could you clap for me though? Clearly you heard I was awesome.
Yes, she's awesome.
There's only one thing that I think you forgot.
What?
I kick butt. I used to be a correction officer.
Okay. Well, listen. I'm sorry. You know what? I left my sticky note over there.
It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah,
I'll throw youth correctional officer.
Yeah. That's like, don't mess. What are you doing?
I'm getting
What is
behind
going
you.
on?
Yeah,
Oh, don't worry.
here's the
I'm
thing.
very, very sweet.
Okay.
See,
Okay,
look,
that's
look at that
good.
face. Look at the.
Kidding.
That's the thing. It's like there's so much cool in her, but Jesus, look out, because I've heard the stern voice of her, and the serious.
The stern version.
Yeah,
All
the
right.
serious. It's like, oh no, you didn't.
And
But
you
I-
didn't. I'm sure.
Anyway, thank you for making the trek out and visiting us. We got lots of questions for you today.
It is absolutely a pleasure to be here. Thank you for thinking about me.
I thought about you because I felt there was a lot of worth in there for our audience, for the questions I'm going to ask you, that would reach out to a lot of people that should relate and say, okay, I can dig this. Number one, where were you born and raised?
Inglewood, California.
Inglewood.
Not even done. Lancaster, California, Hollywood, California, and Oxnard, California.
Okay. Now, here's
Covering the whole area?
Yeah, she
That's right.
simultaneously.
Yeah,
You moved around a lot.
I did.
Okay. We're going to get to who you are now, but we're going to start a little bit, which I'm doing it backwards.
Can you get one of those ball things?
The
'Cause I got a
Magic 8
feeling,
ball?
Yeah,
The
I
Magic
have
8
a feeling he's going to be doing this
No,
stuff.
because I've done my homework. Because this is why she's here.
Well, if you had done your job, you'd have the ball.
Really?
Oh, no.
Well, how much you paying? me and Tim Tebow. You know?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
There's pay involved here?
Yeah,
By the
yeah,
way,
that's the problem.
By the way,
What?
about Tebow.
Oh boy, here we
Yeah.
go. I stuck my-
How's he doing?
He's good.
You been,
He's good. Yeah, he hit a home run back 6 months ago?
Wow. Did
Yeah.
you have your shirt on? Did you have your shirt on when that happened?
Yeah. Well, we were posing. Okay.
Give him a hard time because he went down to Florida and Tim Tebow was
This is
there.
back-
They hung
back
it
ages
together.
ago, yes.
And they both took their shirts off and they
Did
were
they?
all.
We
They were all.
flexed.
Yeah,
Was there any
yes.
pictures of this evidence?
Yes. we
That's
did.
what I keep waiting to see.
No,
you know?
yes, we did.
Pinocchio. Okay. So not only so you're basically a native of the California area that we are in, but more so before I go on how you are now and how you've achieved what you are doing, you're a product of divorce, correct?
Yes, sir, I am.
Yeah. So okay, real quick, and we're gonna hit all these little places, but you survived it, obviously.
Yes.
And you survived it very well. This is a positive
Thank you.
story, people, on how.
Thank God.
Yeah. So briefly, the how old, down point, and to get you to an adult, 18.
Well, as you started, I was born and raised at Inglewood, California, and my parents were married for 22 years before their divorce. I came around a little bit later. My sister and I are about 11 years apart. And when I came around, my parents weren't actually the happiest. They didn't sleep in the same room. There was a lot of verbal and physical abuse that I could see or hear, and it really affected me. And it was very, very harmful to my development looking back. And one day in 1992, my mom and my dad actually were in the same room, and it was very common. I knew something was up, and they told me that they were getting a divorce. And in that moment, I was excited, happy, relieved.
To get rid of Dad?
Yeah, no. I devastated. I loved my dad and I loved my mom, but I loved them individually. Together, it was really hard to be in the same home with them at the same time, and I liked to spend that individual time with them separately. So anywho, that divorce was really ugly, was really messy. I didn't see my dad nearly as much.
How
They
long?
both would, how long was it messy?
Yeah.
I would say about 3 years. And, there's a lot of times in there when, like I was saying, my dad was an absentee dad. And me and him had this amazing relationship. I always admired him. He was a hard worker, an amazing man. And my mom was also a hard worker. She was a letter carrier. My dad was a truck driver. We lived in this gorgeous home on top of a hill in Inglewood. I know everybody always thinks, Inglewood, it's
Yeah.
so bad.
Yeah.
No,
Right by the
the
Forum.
bad area was kind of here, and we lived up the hill. We live in a sedity black neighborhood, okay? My family was looked upon because they were blue-collar workers. But, I mean, there was doctors, lawyers, everything in this neighborhood, but they saved up and worked really hard to have this home. So, anywho, back to my story. It was just really hard on them financially. It was really hard on them as individuals. And in that, we decided, my mom, not we, I was 8, probably about 10 or 11 when this happened, that she was going to move to Lancaster. And the reason that she made that move was because that's where that home that was like that same home she could afford, because we had a pool, we had a jacuzzi, we had 2 stories, we had this amazing home. And by herself, she couldn't afford that in Los Angeles area. It's ridiculous. Sure. So we moved to Lancaster, and that uprooted everything on top of all the stress and the emotions. And I was around 12, 13 when that relationship my mother and I just broke. And I was in a new school. I had new friends. And I don't know if you gentlemen know, but middle school is hell.
We went through it.
Especially if you're a girl that doesn't have those friends and those bonds growing up, and you're in a new area, your mom's commuting to work. And I'm sure you guys have heard of Latchkey Kid.
Yeah, sure.
That was me. Oh. So anywho, after about those 3 years, my dad and I started talking more, and we started reconnecting. And then when I started driving, I would come to see him like at least 3 or 4 times a month. And that bond that we actually never had began to create even more. So it ended up being the best thing for them. And as I got older, I understood what they were going through as individuals. Just brief story. Not really brief, but yeah.
But you told me that your sister kept you together. Is that right?
Yes. My sister.
How?
You know, actually around age 14, my mother and I just hit a wall, and she was done with me. I mean, I did do something kind of bad. I didn't go to school for 28 days, and she didn't actually know. She got that wonderful phone call on one of her off days and looked at me, and it was actually a good day so far. He looked at me, and that look was like, oh, crap. And she said, you know what? I'm done. You pack your bags. You're out. You go say goodbye to your little friends. And at that moment, I just thought my mom was the worst person ever. And, you know, I said goodbye. All my friends' moms absolutely loved me and wanted to take me in. And we went driving the next day, and I had no idea where we were going. I thought she was going to drop me off at an orphanage or something. And we went to my sister's house, and I was like, what's going on? And she said, yeah, you're going to live with your sister now. And my sister is an actress in Hollywood. So and at the time, she was working at the Lisa Gibbons show. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of that show, but she used to take care of the celebrity guests on that show. And I got to the house. My sister said, I've been trying to get you for years. You need to be with me. And that was my saving grace. I mean, at 14 years old, I was still actually this tall, and I looked very similar. And she said, you know what? And it was summer before I started school at Hollywood Performing Arts Magnet. Keep in mind, I was very shy. I was going through a lot of depression. And she said, yeah, so I'm going to go to work every day, and so are you. And I was like, I'm 14. What do you expect me to do? And she said, you go out there. This is Hollywood. There's all kind of places you can go, and you find a place to volunteer. And my very first volunteer/job was Hollywood Entertainment Museum. And I was a docent. I was a tour guide at 14. Nobody knew I was 14. And that I started to break out of my shell. And then when I started school, they had an option to do regular high school, or that Performing Arts Magnet. And I begged her to be in regular school. I don't like to talk. I don't want to have to be on stage. She said, nope, you'll be in Performing Arts School. And instead of art, I had drama. Instead of PE, I had dance. And the very first play that I got to perform on the stage was for Color Girls Who've Ever Considered Suicide, When the Rainbow Is Enough, which is, I don't know if you've heard of it.
No.
It's a very old, very, very beautiful play of poems. It's very short. It's by Natsiki. You could look her up. It's really hard to spell. You have to Google the play title. But it's a very heavy play. And at 14, I was on stage with all these seniors, and I did such a great job. I was so proud of myself. Some of the audience was literally in tears. And I broke out of my shell. I danced. I did modern jazz, hip-hop, ballet, and I loved to perform. So, I mean, also, too, side note, she would bring me home every day and sit on the table after she got off work and I would get out of school, and she would say, all right, homework. And I was like, I don't have any homework. She said, we sit here for 2 hours. You figure out something to do, whether you're reading or whether you're writing, and I'm right here sitting across from you doing my work. You need help, you just tap my shoulder.
So your sister turned out to become your parent.
I would, in a sense, because my mom was still present, my father was still present. He was going through a lot of health issues at the time. I kind of looked at her as my social worker. Hence why I decided to get my master's in social work, because I know that ability to intercept somebody, to intervene, or to be that positive factor in somebody's life to help them change.
Wow, that's a wonderful
Okay,
story.
so you got through school.
Yes,
And then you, because I know you have some Air Force background.
I do.
What did you go into first?
Let's see. After I actually ended up moving back to Lancaster to finish my last
so
year of
beautiful
high
out there.
school. I know. My poor mom called me one day and she was in tears, and I can't deal with that. I love her to death. We had our issues, but she said, I bought this big house for you. She was like, I love you. I worked this hard for you. Please come home. It had been 2.5 years. Mm-hmm. And those 2.5 years brought a different, person completely. But in that moment, I was like, okay.
So you survived.
I survived. I regretted it. So pretty much after high school, I decided I wanted to be some kind of social worker, some kind of counselor, some kind of therapist. And in order for me to do that, I need to get my bachelor's in sociology. And I did that. And then I was like, you know what? I think that the government should pay for my master's degree. And I just really wanted to give back. I love giving back. I love people. And I wanted to be in the military. So I found the Air Force. And, I took the ASVAB. I'm sure if you guys heard this huge test they make you take that's very similar to SAT.
ASVAB?
ASVAB.
Oh, I thought you said that.
No, I did not say ass. Can we say ass on this radio show?
Yeah, well, we just did. Yeah, it could be worse. It could be worse.
So yeah,
Let me tell you.
I mean, other than the SAT, they have these two other criteria, electrical and mechanical. And for some reason, a girl doesn't change her own air on her tires scored really high in mechanics. So the recruiter said, "Do you want to be an aircraft mechanic / crew chief?" I said, "Why the hell not?" So
You ever seen her? She looks pretty good in a tool belt.
Yeah, this is awesome.
oh yeah. So
I told you we lost the job already. You got that right.
you did, and somewhere in between there, I mean, actually corrections. I joined California State Corrections. So in that process, it was a very long application process. And they said, "Do you want to go to the adult and continue waiting through this application process, or do you want to transfer your application to the youth and work with the juvenile justice division?" And I said, "You know what? That's actually down the path I want to do." So, and that's what brought me to this area. Ventura Youth Correctional Facility is a facility located in Camarillo.
So you both boys and girls, or just girls, or
Both.
Okay.
At first, it was young women, and then young men, and then they had both.
Did the boys tend to listen to you, or what? I mean,
Everybody listens to me.
well, I hear you, but as a boy, as a young boy, it's like,
Yeah,
you
I'm
know,
packing my stuff.
I don't look like this when I.
What do you look like? I don't get it.
Well, you have to wear a stab-proof vest.
Yeah,
So that goes
stab-proof.
a stab-proof,
Yeah,
just in case you know.
Yeah,
So I wear that, and I wear 3X collared shirts,
Okay.
3X men collared
Okay.
shirts, and big pants and boots, and
What-
tie my hair up.
A mask?
And,
I don't get it. You know?
I'm very, you know what? It's a very fine line, and I'm very strict because I understand if you let somebody go over that unfamiliar line, then they'll continue to go. So, I mean, I would write guys up until they, figure out what's going on. If they complimented me, if they asked me a personal question. One gentleman, I was escorting him, and he decided that he was new. All the other, inmates had said, "Hey, that's Miss Martin. You respect Miss Martin, okay?" And he just wanted to,
Well, you can't blame
push
him.
buttons.
I mean,
but I can write him up.
yeah, okay, but he was just,
So what
being
he
a guy.
said, and this might seem a little petty to you guys,
Okay.
he said, "You have the most amazing eyelashes." And I said, "You have no more times to compliment me. I made it clear. Next time you compliment me, that's a write-up. And I'll remind you, no personal questions, no complimenting me. If you have a question about something that I can help you with your life, if you want to share, if you need rehabilitation, recidivism, anything else about yourself, you let me know." One more time he complimented me. I went ahead and tell him I'm going to write him up. And he refused to continue the escort. And I called for backup, and he was escorted back to the unit. I don't play that. However, the rapport that I managed to gain with all of my population was absolutely, to me, it was amazing and it was moving because they know I might be strict when it comes to that fine line, but I'll take care of you when it comes to you doing what you're supposed to do. If you have a question, if you have a need, if you're about to go home and you don't know what to do, you don't know what to expect, if you're still hurting from what happened with your personal life, maybe your parents are incarcerated, maybe you really regret that, your initial crime, you can talk to me. I would do other things, actually one that I miss to this day called Cafe Snaps. One thing I didn't also tell you is I'm a poet, and I have a poetry book that
It's just coming out in December for 1995.
Well, I actually finished
Does she
writing
own
it.
Does she own this car dealership, or what's going on?
But one of my passions is absolutely poetry, and that's one of the things too that helped me when I was when I was really young, going through all that stress and depression in my parents' divorce. I would write poetry for myself, and I've been writing it for myself since the age of probably like 9 up until now. And it kind of hit me one day. I was working with girls in the rehabilitation unit. I said, you know what? We're going to do this thing called Cafe Snaps. I'm going to go ahead and get it approved. I brought in pastries and nice little tablecloths, and we set up the cafeteria on a specific unit, just cute. And I said, okay, for this week, we're going to talk about abuse. For this week, we're going to talk about mothers. For this week, we're going to talk about things that maybe you missed out on. And you guys, and they would say, we can't write poetry. Yes, you can. Poetry is anything you put on the paper. You are the boss of it. You do the punctuation. You do everything.
Even rap? That's like poetry, right?
It is exactly poetry. A lot of poetry books I have are by
She's
rap
agreeing.
artists too. I was hoping that he wouldn't bust out into a rap right now.
I almost was gonna.
So, anywho, I did that for almost over a year, and it got to be such a big thing at the facility that our superintendent would attend, our different administrators would attend, and these girls would take this seriously. I had them announcing one another. I had them supporting one another, and we would get into really deep topics and things they need to talk about. And it was a really safe place. And I mean, with the boys, it did something similar. I used to work on a unit that was, we'll call it a behavioral treatment unit, and they pretty much had a lot of behavioral issues and weren't allowed to walk with the main population. They spent a lot of times in their room with the exception of 3 hours. They can get out, and have a little physical activity. But for whatever disciplinary reasons, they were on this unit. And administrators say, hey, Taja, do that thing that you do where you always, you help the kiddos out. And I was like, they can't even come out at the same time. How am I going to? Then I said, you know what? I got an idea. And I did essay writing contests, and I would assign different topics. Like one of the topics were relationships. One of the topics were your parents. And I think the best topics that really just touched my heart once I received the essays from the guys was, what would you tell your star athlete, scholar son in high school that's just met the wrong guys and he's starting to hang out with these guys? These guys are drug dealers, they're gang members. What do you tell your son? But you're here. So write him a letter on what you would tell him. And the reason I think that, and I didn't even expect this to happen, are all these guys are writing what they wish they had heard from their fathers, what they were yearning for. And some of them realized and some of them didn't. And I would grade these essays just by myself. They knew that I would get it. I would grade it, and then because on this unit they had limited access to things, I would get permission to give them, whether it was an extra soap or a loofah or a bag of hot Cheetos, whatever it is
Bath salts.
Not really bath salts. Clearly you've never been locked up.
Clearly I haven't, but you can talk to Jim.
That's an old-time thing there.
I think that's a new thing. But it was just really amazing, and I was able to kind of like not even intentionally just understand those individuals and treat them as individuals more. And they would look at me and know, Taja knows a lot about me, and it was just that respect that you have. So, yeah.
Would you say most of these guys and girls in this correctional facility, because now we're turning it back into where we're at, products of the bad parenting, misfortunate parenting, or, in other words, we've been talking a lot about it trickles from where it starts, you know what I mean? The product of. Just like you survived product of, they didn't.
I believe there's a cycle. And there's a cycle, whether it's a cycle of abuse, whether it's a cycle of, unhealthy relationships. There's most of these kids, if not all of them, have had that cycle where their parents were either not together, unhappy, they had financial situations, they were divorced, they never heard from the other one. And if you don't have that person to jump in and help you with that cycle, if you can't motivate yourself, if you don't have the tools, we all have risk factors. But do we have protective factors? My sister was a protective factor, so I was fortunate, I was lucky. And the way I tried as much as I can with the youth, all the youth I've worked with, was try to be at least a little bit of that protective factor. Because children, youth, even adults, we have the abilities to be resilient, but do we have the tools in our toolbox?
The knowledge, in other words, or the
Yes.
common sense?
Yes. Common sense is a little different. Common sense is going to look a little different to everybody where they're from. But coping skills. Do we have adequate coping skills? If you've never had a tragedy in your life and maybe you lose your puppy, you may absolutely fall apart. But if maybe you've been prepared to understand that these things can happen, and in this situation, or if ever you get hurt, maybe you could take a walk, maybe you could breathe, you can call a friend, you could find a favorite show, you can exercise, whatever it is. You can even take a shower, take a bath, you can color, you can draw, you can do poetry. If you have your coping skill, it's going to help you get through those times.
So now, pushing it forward, you left. Are you still with the correctional facility, or you left?
I am in limbo. No, I am not with the correctional facility anymore. I actually sustained some medical injuries, breaking up one too many fights, but still pretty strong.
Got everything.
Don't mess with her.
No.
I'm
I
not.
mean, my ankle's a little bit hurts. I may not be able to chase you too long, but if I catch you, no. So yeah, I'm actually medically retired with the correctional facility, and right now, I just got my master's in social work, and I'm working with Casa Pacifica as an intensive treatment foster care specialist.
We've been getting a lot of that lately. A couple of months ago, we had somebody from there.
She's probably,
I wasn't.
or he's probably
Yes, you were.
amazing.
Yeah. What was her name? Jennifer.
Oh,
Jennifer.
okay. Oh, yeah.
Jennifer, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Good. Well, see, then those guys must be doing a lot of good work then.
Casa Pacifica is amazing. They're this huge umbrella that so many different programs for the community, for our youth, just
How
give
did they
back.
end up there?
How do they? Okay, so Casa Pacifica has a location on Flint Road, and then they have a residential facility on Lewis in Camarillo. The Lewis is a residential treatment, not residential treatment, but it's a residential facility that houses several different units, whether it's they have each unit has like a different mission in a sense, but I don't actually work at the residential facility.
Okay.
But whether I work with the community-based services, where we pretty much, whether it's a wraparound, wrapping people back around to their family, or making sure that that they can stay with their family if they've had a CPS call. There's different things that we do, and that's done at Casa Pacifica.
You've been dealing with a lot of divorce issues or just abuse issues, or because we're all about the kids and surviving. I mean, our show is more, how do you survive when the parents are going crazy? Because again, when we were having our issues, we're losing control of things, and it's pretty frustrating. And then you got your kids that are looking that they need you.
You know what? Yeah, it's really tough, and I can't exactly pinpoint one particular thing that I see a repetitiveness. It's just life. Whether it's our parents getting divorced, or they're still married and they're in an unhealthy relationship, or sometimes they don't. It's 2016. To survive, you almost have to have two working parents that are slaving to maintain that lifestyle. And if they're out there slaving, who's with that child when they're wandering around, or maybe they're getting hurt? They could be sexually assaulted, physically assaulted. There are just so many things that our children are susceptible to, that they can go through.
Right. Start hanging out with the wrong people. When you got all that free time.
Yeah.
I get it.
Not even doing your homework, or not feeling like you fit in. If you don't feel like you fit in, especially at middle school, especially at high school, that's your whole world. You can't even see it tomorrow.
Right. So, military still?
I actually just separated from the military. I was with the military for 7 years and was absolutely amazing. But I see my life going down a different direction.
Reserve?
Right now. It was California Air National Guard,
okay,
which is similar to reserve but not reserve.
Okay. And they taught you how to wrench planes?
We don't call it wrench planes.
I'm sorry. They taught you how to technically manage the California facility.
Technically, my title was aeronautical maintenance.
Aeronautical maintenance. It's like,
and I'm pretty much an aircraft mechanic.
Okay.
Turning wrenches on aircraft.
Okay. Did you like it?
I absolutely loved it. I worked on a C-130J, which is a huge cargo aircraft. To give you an example, I've seen them put 2 Hummers inside the aircraft while we're still in the back, pick them up in one state and drop them off in the next.
While you're working on it?
No, we don't work while we're in the air.
Yeah,
but
okay.
However, you never know.
Yeah. Now, currently, so you're now doing this with Casa Pacifica.
Yes, sir.
And where do you see yourself in a year from now?
Excellent question. The ITFC Intensive Treatment Foster Care Program is absolutely growing, and my supervisor is amazing. She's the program manager. Her name is Marcy Colback, and she has expressed to me that I want you to grow with this program. I want you to continue working with us in case management, and just continue doing what you're doing and being an asset, and just support our program. So I would love to just be able to work with foster care children still. It's tough, it's hard, but it's important. There's not enough foster homes. There's not enough support in the community, so I just want to be the change I want to see.
So here we are, fighting to be parents, or we are parents or whatever, and then you got kids that don't even have parents, right? Because abandoned, or what's the reasoning?
Well,
Taken away?
For the most part, the children I've worked with, they do have parents, but these parents are just incapable of caring for them, whether they've been incarcerated, whether they're using substances, or it's so many things. It's so many different things, and some of the parents just don't actually want to be parents. They're tired. Life has given them a hand that they just can't take it anymore. And there's a lot of times when we as human beings feel we've reached our limit. And I'm not excusing them at all, but if you try to be a parent and you're not prepared, you're not ready, then you're really harming your child. So we just try to make sure that we can work with the foster parents and with the parents. If they want to, we give them the tools. We try to support them. We take them to classes or training or whatever it is that they need so they can be that healthy parent to their child again.
Yeah. So the kids, do you find parents, like, they have 8 kids, and it's like, you're an idiot. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And they can't take care of any of them. And you just look at them and go, what the hell is wrong with you? You can't take care of 1 and you have 8.
You
Jim.
know what?
I knew that was coming.
I never look at a parent like that.
Really?
And honestly, it's
We're different here on a Jim and Peter show.
It's because of my training, it's because of my education, and just learning. Again, it's that cycle. If you were never loved, if you were never taught how to sexually be responsible, how to, have a healthy relationship, then, maybe you're looking for love in different ways. Maybe you're thinking this child is something that you can love, or maybe you don't see a tomorrow for yourself. And if you don't see a tomorrow or a future for yourself, how are you able to plan in that moment and be that responsible human being? A lot of the parents I've met and a lot of the inmates never, when I would ask them, what are your plans for a year? What are your plans for tomorrow? What are your plans for 5 years from now? Blank. So, it's just, we all have different experiences, and learning how to empathize, learning how to listen and truly try to put yourself in another person's shoes. And we'll never be able to truly do that, but just that trying helps us understand where they're coming from. So, if we don't have any empathy for them, if we don't actually believe that they're capable of being, contributing human beings, how can we truly help them without... we all have biases, but we have to know as human beings what our biases are, especially if you're helping somebody, especially if you're trying to build them up. You have to believe in them.
Mm-hmm. You got a question? I'm with you. I get it. But, a lot of these kids, you got some that just go, look, I'm in this place. I'm probably always going to be in this place. This is where I'm going to be. You get that?
I get that a lot. And I really do.
It's sad. That's a sad answer.
It is. And one thing that people...
Jim, you're in this place?
Are you... Jim, are you? Because I'm going to tell you what I tell them.
What's that?
You're amazing. First of all, I'm going to tell you.
You are special.
Peter, you're interrupting.
I'm sorry,
oh, my God.
I used to be wonderful. Then I met him.
Yes, now I'm Mr.
I'm going to tell you why. Because you're still here. You need to recognize all those accomplishments, all those successes that you may not give yourself. We don't credit ourselves for little things. You're still here. You're still waking up. You still have hope. You still have faith. And if you don't, you just got to learn that person and figure out. You picked that outfit out today. You had the confidence to find something to feel good about yourself. You took a walk. You realize that you deserve that moment to breathe. You realize you're human, like all those little things. With one of my clients now, I'm always boosting her up. She's like, oh, I got this bad grade. Didn't you fail every class last year? Maybe you're failing one now, but you got a C. That's huge. Like, can we focus on this success right here? Can you give yourself that credit? So, it starts with those little things, and a lot of people don't believe in themselves, especially if everybody is telling you all these negative things and putting you down. It's really hard. So that's where I start.
Yeah.
You made it, though. You made it.
I did.
Sounds like
And
it.
I'm happy.
You're one of the lucky ones. You made it.
I think there's tons of lucky ones, and I want them to come find you guys and let everybody know, like, you can make it. This is okay. I tell my client all the
that's
time,
great.
you're going to be okay. You're amazing. You're beautiful. You're gorgeous. You're intelligent. You got this, kid. I tell her all the time.
Because unfortunately, the odds, and we talked about this, many times, that there's just way overwhelming numbers of people that are just a mess, and not by choice, but the divorce. And we love our kids. I mean, I can't say it enough. We've changed our lives to be daddies or mommies, and love every second of it. And it's been very humbling for me, especially. But we surviving it. But man, it takes. There's just times when I just want to scream because of the crap I got to go through. But my daughter doesn't judge me for my money. She doesn't judge me for this and that. But it's not her. It's me judging me because me is not who me is anymore. And so you survived. You're doing good. You could be a drill instructor.
Yeah, could be anything.
Yeah. Why do you think I'm not?
I mean, Tasha boot camp. Listen, we're going to have to wrap it up. This has been overwhelmingly awesome.
Well, I want to say that this has been a great evening, and it's very exciting to have
I didn't know
someone
what
like you.
we were going to get.
Well, in the beginning, I wasn't sure either, but then I realized, wait a minute,
Can he live with you for a while?
My boyfriend may not like
but you could just feed him a little, just kibble.
We do have a spot for it.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I have not punched him yet.
Yes. Yes.
Really?
See?
Yeah.
Maybe you want to talk about it.
How have you not?
We're going to talk about it.
If that's your coping skill and that helps you be okay, no, just teasing.
Yeah.
But it is, all of it does go around divorce. And I knew that when I felt I was the only kid in the whole place. And so when my parents left and everything, now it's just me. I thought, no, I'm okay. I'm strong. I'm good. But am I still carrying what was injected into me? And now it's getting into my son. Maybe it's getting, and I've got to be able to say, okay, today I cursed, and today I got angry because you weren't doing what you're supposed to do, and I came back, and I have to eat you. I have to. Maybe I should do that too.
Bring me the baby.
But I want, I got to take care of your clothes. I got to feed you. I got to make sure you go to school, help you do homework, all this stuff, and have a job somehow, which I haven't been able to do yet. And that's for that point is makes me sometimes, for a while, I'll go into the room and I'll just think about it and I'll think, I really should be doing better, And the truth is, I believe that because I could be doing better. Just because of what happened in my past doesn't mean I have to drag it into my son's future,
I'm a little biased, as you know, I'm a writer, but I think when you're going in your room and you're having those thoughts, you should write those down and really kind of reflect on them. And next time you have that conversation with your son, letting him know, helping him to be in your shoes, try to let him know you get his shoes. I get it. You have a lot of work. You're really stressed out. This is hard on you. Try to give him some acknowledgments too, and you guys just kind of sit in that moment.
That'd be a good idea.
And there you have it.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say real quick if you were to leave us with something?
Don't say that. We'll be here for 20 minutes.
No. It's worth it.
I just really want to, thank you guys for having me on the show.
Thank you.
You guys have been absolutely amazing. Yeah. And just get that energy and focus all that love in your child.
Oh, I've got plenty of that.
Let them see it. Let them feel it.
It's just far away from me right now, but it will be coming back.
So thank you guys.
Yeah. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, the lovely and talented and very well put together.
Thank you. That's nice.
I think you should be talking about
Miss Tasha Martin.
She wasn't even going to say anything about you.
Holy, but don't get me started with you.
Guys.
I've had enough of you.
No, you haven't.
Hope we can see you again sometime.
Most definitely.
That'd be great to have you come by.
Yeah, this was good. We're always gonna. I don't know where we just kind of go, but it's a good thing because we know where we're going, kinda.
Kinda, sorta.
Yeah,
but having this kind of energy that you really need because there's all of us out there. Now what do we do?
Yeah, we boo-hoo a lot, but we boo-hoo to show that you got to get through the boo-hoo.
Yeah.
Never boo-hooed. Always a man. Always a Marine. Always a man.
No. Hey. All right, that's it. Yeah. Okay. While Jim's crying, we're gonna leave you with this. Thank you, people, once again for watching and listening to the Jim and Peter Show. iTunes, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Am I missing something?
You're
The
not
podcasts are awesome, but now, we're throwing a lot of video in, and it's really good, especially when we have, good talent on the show and much easier on the eyes than us.
Yes,
So,
well, that's
thank you,
definitely
yes.
true.
Absolutely.
Why, thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you very much. We're getting out of here. That's my buddy Jimmy. My name's Peter G. We love you guys. Share, share, share.
Peace and love.
Out.
Peter G Show.